Yo, what's going on, guys? So logbooks always have been one of my favorite strategies. In fact, most of my currency I would make each league would come either from simulacrums or logbooks. And my favorite type of logbook always have been Druids of the Broken Circle, which, in case you don't know, is the one that gives you artifact that allow you to gamble with Gwennen. So obviously I really like gambling, so hopefully I would get Mageblood at some point, or maybe even Headhunter or Squires. But unfortunately, I was doing them so often, I just eventually got bored of them, and also Gwennen has been nerfed. So I actually ended up in the past with 2 Magebloods from Gwennen, and people have been saying that on average you should get one in around 10,000 rerolls, so 10,000 Astragalis, and Astragalis were going for between 4 to 5 chaos each, and it still actually was worth it. And both of the times I did get Magebloods are in around 8,000 rerolls, so I did make some nice profit. But unfortunately, like I said, it has been nerfed, and now, to be honest, no one really knows how often you get Mageblood, but I've been told that some people rerolled 50,000 times and still haven't seen a single one, or even Headhunter or anything else. And someone else also told me that he was buying some other items, so even going for some weapons, some shields, and so on. And in around 20,000 rerolls, he did not get anything. But obviously, I don't just trust everyone, so I decided to test it myself to see, is it actually this bad? And on top of that, this League Gwennen logbooks should be a bit better because of the Crucible. So because of Crucible, some weapons and shields are actually more expensive, so I figured I might try to buy not only belts for the Headhunter and Mageblood, but also some other things for the weapons. And also because Gwennen has been nerfed, now logbooks for the Druids go for around 10 chaos. So I'm pretty sure just from the loot from the logbooks you should be able to get your investment back. So for this test I decided to do just 50 Druid logbooks. Reason why I didn't go for more than that is, like I said, I have been kind of bored of them. I don't really want to do too many of them. And also, even in the past, I didn't really like running them that much, but because of the expectation of gambling at the end, I still ran them because gambling is always fun, so I still was doing them. So now, because we know that gamble is nerfed, I didn't want to do that many of them, so I did only 50. And I'm not gonna go too in depth how I was running them. I did make a lot of videos in the past about logbooks, so if you're interested in how to run logbooks, you can watch these. So the way I run them is I bought 50 of them, like I said, for 10 chaos each on TFT, and then I used Bless Orbs to roll the implicits. First, the most important thing is the layout, so I went for the, for example, in this case, I would go for Dried Riverbed because I think it's a little bit better, and the implicit is already well rolled, so I wouldn't use Bless Orbs in here, but most of the time I go for at least 50%. And then I would use Alchemy, and I would also roll with Chaos or Scours and Alchemies for at least 60%. You don't have to do it, obviously, but that's what I did, so I would keep this one, and that's basically it. And when I was running them, to be honest, I think I was doing them too long. So with price of 10 chaos, it's probably worth it to just go for the chests, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, you can still go for some useful remnants if you find them on your way, but maybe you shouldn't spend too much time in them. But I was going for additional stacked decks, currency, and artifacts. Remnants, either from chests or the monsters. These were basically my 3 top priority, and I was first checking not the entire logbook, just a little bit to check if there are any good remnants. Then I would start detonating them and then go for the monsters or the chests. But like I said, I think I was doing them too long, so maybe I should have just look for one useful remnant at the beginning, just go for it and go from there. Don't waste too much time. So now let's go over the profit. So first of all, in terms of the artifacts, here you can see I got 5,000 exceptional artifacts, 33,000 grand, 50,000 other ones. And in case you don't know, you spend the exceptional for the jewels always, grand for the jewelry, so for the belts, greater for the weapons, and lesser for chests. And the way I was spending these artifacts, well, I was using the regex. So here you can actually check which items are the most expensive, and you can copy it and then use it to search for the good bases. So obviously I went for the Mageblood, Headhunter, Squire, but in terms of other things, I also was going for Soul Taker, Divinarius, Diala, Voltaxic, Hyris Ire, and Aegis Aurora. And for the jewels, I was going only for the green one because I think it's worth a bit more, and I didn't want to go for both of them because I didn't have enough space. So in case you don't know, if you put too much stuff, you can't fit it in the search window, so you have to cut it to 50 characters. So I actually started with green and without Champion's Kite Shield, so that was my first one. And then after I ran out of exceptional artifacts, I removed the jewel and I went for this. So then you just copy it, and then you go in here, and after you are rerolling, you're gonna see which items you should buy. So just to show you, and here I would buy these things, and then move on, and so on. And then these the items that are not unique, I would just sell to the vendor, and that's it. So that's how I was running them, and like I said, I did get this amount of artifacts. And in terms of the amount of Astragallis, I did get a little bit more than 1000, and they go for around half a chaos, so I did get around 570 chaos if I sold my Astragallis, but obviously I did use them. And I had even more artifacts, so I ended up having to buy Astragallis to roll for even more items, and I think I bought around 1500 additional Astragallis. So now let's look at the loot. So here is all of the stuff that I did count in the profit. So this is all that I got from the logbooks themselves. And here in the bottom, you can see 2 divines and 1 card, which is worth around chaos, 180 chaos, maybe a bit more. And the reason why I did put them in here is because, as you remember, I was buying them for 10 chaos, which basically means these divines and this card pays for this whole test. So it doesn't really matter what I got. This already has been paid for, and all of this is just straight up profit. Obviously, for the gamble itself, I still had to buy Astragallis, so that would have to be paid for. But from just the loot, just this already covers from the cost of logbooks. And in terms of the loot, as you can see here, I just got some mounts, some random currency, and then I think most of the profit actually came from stacked decks and probably rogue markers. Rogue markers are actually decently expensive nowadays. And here is, I have some additional stacked decks, so I forgot to include them. This also is from the test. Let me actually put it in here. So a few more stacked decks and some uniques, which are, to be honest, not worth that much. And here are all of the things that I did not include in the test results. So some bad contracts, low tier maps, offerings, and 1 divine vessel. So now let's look at the results from the gamble. So here are all of the belts that I got. And as you can see, there is no Mageblood and no Headhunter. So to be honest, that was expected. But I did end up getting Soul Taker, which right now is worth around 6 divines. And I also did get Intuitive Leap, which is lucky, but also unlucky. I think I actually got lucky because I did end up getting a jewel, which I think is pretty lucky. But out of all of the Viridian jewels I could get, this is probably the worst one. So this one is only worth 80 chaos. And I think every other one is worth at least 1 divine. Maybe some of them are worth 5 divines. So I think I got pretty unlucky with this one. But still, I got one anyway. But Soul Taker paid for all of the Astragallis that I did pay, that I had to buy, and I think even for a little bit more. So I ended up actually not losing money from the gambling. So now let's look at the spreadsheet. So how much did I actually make or lose? So here you can see, you probably already see profit per hour, which doesn't look too great, but still, let's go over the all of the numbers, and then I'm gonna give you my summary of the project. So like I said, I did buy 50 of them, 10 chaos, which is only 500 chaos. I did buy 1500 Astragallis, so a little bit more than 700 chaos. and I did spend a little bit of money for blessed orbs. And it took me 5 hours to run all of the logbooks and 1.5 hours to buy stuff from Gwennen. So in total 6.5 hours, which to be honest, I think it's too much. I actually was distracted on stream a lot. I was just talking to viewers and stuff, so that's probably some additional time. And on top of that, like I said, I think I was running them not efficiently. I should been doing them much faster. I think if I was doing them correctly, this should be maybe more around 4 hours, which let's actually check. If I run it 2 hours faster, I guess it wouldn't change too much. Here you can see all of the astragals. This is actually the wrong number. I did by 1,500 and I also dropped 1,100. So in total I did roll 2,600 times. Here's all of the loot. So some profit from heist items. This is all of the loot, so currency, and this is without bulk prices, because to be honest I did only 50 of logbooks, so I wouldn't benefit from bulk prices. But if you do maybe like 500 logbooks instead of 50, then you would make a bit more from selling stuff in bulk. And here is the uniques, so Soul Taker and Jewel. So in total I made 12 divines, so because the time was actually quite long, it was only 2 divines per hour. And here's a second breakdown. So this one is if I didn't spend Astragalis. So what if I did Gwennen logbooks without rolling with Gwennen? So I did make profit from Astragalis, so around 500 chaos, because I did drop 1,100 Astragalis, and I would not spend money on these Astragalis, so I would spend only 500 chaos. So in total I would make 2.4 divines per hour. So in total 11.9, but it would be a bit shorter because I would not have to spend time with Gwennen. So it looks like I actually made a little bit less because I was gambling, but I did spend some additional time. So per hour, I did spend less time if I didn't roll for them. So per hour it would be better, but overall it is a bit lower. So to be honest, it didn't really matter. It's pretty much the same numbers if you roll, if you don't roll. But obviously it's also a very small sample size, just 50 logbooks is not that much. And like I said, a lot of people have been telling me that they did like tens of thousands and didn't get anything. But I guess I would have to do a bigger test to do it. And logbooks are just not interesting, especially if you know that at the end you might still not get anything. I definitely would not recommend doing them. So that's pretty much the test results. Are Gwennen logbooks good after the nerfs? Well, answer is unfortunately no. So you're definitely not going to see me doing them anymore in any near future, unless there's gonna be some changes to the logbooks. Hopefully at some point we're gonna do it, because I actually did like the gamble. It was very interesting and it definitely was one of the best way to get Mage Blood. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.